In this lesson we're going to learn how to play some chords. We're going to need to use one of these, which is called a pick, or if you're from England you're familiar with the name plectrum. Plectrum or pick. It's made out of plastic or nylon, and you get a really nice bright clean sound when you strum a chord. This is called strumming. When you take the pick and go right through the strings. And chords are held down with more than one finger on the left hand into different shapes. Some are more easier than others, so we'll start off with the easiest chord, which is an E minor chord. And chords are used usually for singing. That is, you learn some chords and you can sing along either with someone else that's playing them, or if you're a guitarist that doesn't sing or doesn't want to sing, you can play the chords while someone else sings. It's called accompanying or accompaniment. Here I'm holding a pick. Now I place the pick between my thumb and first or index finger. You notice my finger is going along the length of the pick and my thumb on the side of the pick. You don't really have to grip it super tight, but as long as it doesn't fall on the floor and it feels comfortable, everything's fine. And you would just simply rest your elbow or forearm on the edge of the guitar like we discussed earlier, and you can practice taking the pick and just strumming through the open strings like that. You can go through them fairly quickly with a downstroke, or even practice coming up with an upstroke, just to get a feel of how tight you have to grip the pick so it doesn't fall out of your hands. Now, let's take a look at the left hand and learn our first chord. We're going to be learning an E minor chord. We want to place our middle finger on the 5th string just behind the 2nd fret. There's your 1st fret, there's your 2nd fret there. And we want to place our 3rd finger on the same fret on the 4th string right next door to the middle finger. Now once you've got that in place, make sure your fingers come fairly vertically from the fingerboard. If they lean over too much, you'll find that your 3rd finger will lean on the 3rd string, creating a muffled sound which we don't want. So once again, let's construct that chord. Middle finger, 5th string, 2nd fret, and squash your 3rd finger in on the 4th string at the 2nd fret as well. Now if you've got that in place, you're ready to strum now with the right hand. You start from the 6th string with the pick, and just bring the pick right through the strings to create this sound. And there we have an E minor chord. Very nice sounding chord. Like that. One more time. Let's take a look at the left hand once again. It's quite difficult if you're not used to pressing to get the 2 fingers side by side. You may find that your middle finger moves back a little bit, and if it's not too tight with the fret, you may get a buzzing sound like that when you're strumming the chord. And once again, if you're leaning over and your 3rd finger is muting out the 3rd string, you'll get this kind of sound, where you can't really hear the full chord ringing. So lift your finger up and press quite hard with both fingers to produce a nice full E minor tone. Now what I'd like you to do is strum the E minor chord in the timing of quarter notes. That would be like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. And one more bar. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to go on now and look at another chord that we'll try, a D major. To form our D major chord, we first take our 1st finger and press it on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, once again right behind the fret, and we take our middle finger and place it on the first string at the second fret, and our third finger we place on the third fret of the second string. Once again, first finger, second fret, third string, middle finger, second fret, first string, and third finger, third fret, second string, like that. Now, as in the E minor chord, make sure that your third finger isn't leaning over onto and touching the first string, creating a muted out effect where the note doesn't ring. So try and lift your fingers up a little bit so they're more vertical, coming off the fingerboard this way, and we're ready to try playing our D chord, which should sound like this. Now I'm going to show you how to play it with the right hand. Now, the fourth string of the guitar, as you recall, is a D. And that's really where you want to begin the downstroke when strumming the D major chord. From the fourth string downwards like this. For now you can look at your right hand, because it's quite difficult to not look at your right hand, and when you've got a pick it's hard to feel where the strings are, of course, because you're not using your thumb and fingers. So try and strum from the fourth string down. From now you can look at your right hand, and I'd like you to strum in quarter notes. That is 1, 2, 3, 4. If you do accidentally hit the fifth or sixth string, it's not too bad, but it's not too nice either, because these notes really don't sound too good when they're played with the D chord from the fourth string down. As you get better at feeling where the strings are without looking at the right hand, you'll find you'll be able to accurately begin commencing with the pick the downstroke from the fourth string. Now, you may find that the first string is getting a little bit muffled out. Once again, it could be the problem of your third finger with your left hand leaning over onto it, or it could simply be that the middle finger of your left hand isn't quite pressing firmly behind the fret on the first string. If you've got a nice bright tone, and you may want to play each note individually just to check, and when you do get a nice bright tone, once again, 4 strums in quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, at changing between E minor and D major. Now, if you've never changed chords, you'll first find out that it's quite difficult to land your fingers all in one go into the shape of the chord that you're traveling to. So if you're on E minor, like this, and you want to lift your fingers up, you'll probably find there's a tendency for your fingers to go in this order. First finger, middle, and then third. Now, of course, if you're accompanying someone who's singing and the chords happen to go from E minor to D, you want to be able to land as quick as you can with all your fingers in one go. And this isn't easy at all. So don't worry if at first your first finger does line up and then your middle and then your third. That's okay. There's a tendency for that to happen with everyone. But gradually, over a period of time, that is, as you practice and as you move along with getting used to pressing the chord down, try and lift your fingers up in the air rather than scoot over the top of the strings like that. Lift them up and place them all down in one go. If it's difficult to do that, try placing 2 down in one go and then say your third finger. Or you could even try going like this. Lift off from E minor, place your third finger down and try and place your fingers in reverse sequence to how they wanted to go when you went 1, 2 and 3 finger. Go 3, 2 and 1 finger like that. You'll find that it may slow you down, but eventually your brain and your fingers form the pattern automatically so that you land in one go. Now what I'd like you to try doing is doing a very slow strum pattern. 4 quarter note strums, that is downstroke strums. 1, 2, 3, 4, and lift and place and come down on the 1. That's the first beat on D major. Once again, 1, 2, 3, 4, lift, 1, 2, 3, 4. Try and do that if you can, but a word of caution, please don't play the E minor too fast. You don't want to end up going and then struggling to find the chord for the next beat of the bar. So try that very slowly, E minor to D major, and then we'll learn a song using those 2 chords.